Welcome to The Wrap, everybody. I'm Jeremy Olson, the North Dakota Director for the AIM Weekend Walleye Series, and today we're going to talk about the Yamaha Motor Corp USA North Dakota State Championship, and we're going to kind of do an overview of our year for 2020. Now, it was kind of a crazy year because of COVID, and we didn't think we were going to have a season. We missed a couple tournaments, but we were able to get those in thanks to the great folks at the North Dakota Game and Fish, and we're just going to get started. Our champions for the North Dakota AIM Weekend Walleye Series, Yamaha Motor Corp USA, are Darren and Heidi Schneider. Hey, how are you guys doing today?
Pretty good.
Good.
So did you expect to be here when we started this season?
Nope.
No.
So at Garrison, your first tournament of the year, you guys brought in 13.19 pounds of fish. Your big fish was a 21-incher. What was it like fishing that first tournament, getting into knowing you were going to fish a full season of AIM?
Garrison was the one we figured we were going to do the best at. And that's the only one we entered the side pot. In fact, it's like Garrison's kind of our bread and butter. The rest of them are unfamiliar. We're gonna do really well in Garrison and start off the year with a bang and worry about points after that. And it didn't work out the way we planned.
Well, you took it from there. You went to the next tournament in Newtown. Yeah, you were pretty consistent. You came in with 16.9 pounds of fish. And there your big fish was a 25-incher. So you just kind of stepped her up from there. What was it like fishing Newtown? That was a little
we had never been there before. So, never been up in the arm, fished the deep water area. So, we literally didn't know a whole lot. Pre-fishing wasn't great, so we decided on pouch was the only consistent thing we had, pulled into pouch, and obviously Newtown had the wind. And we had 3 fish on the card before the rest of the field came around the corner. And it was like, okay, we're off, we're good, and then the wind died and fish were gone. What's it like fishing together?
I think that's the thing, everybody. We're going to get into the next couple tournaments here and stuff as we walk through this. What's it like fishing as a husband and wife team?
It ain't no really different because we fish together all the time. I think we've fumbled on the numbers. It's day 73 was yesterday for us, and Heidi's only missed a few days because of work and things going on. Other than that, we're together on the water all the time, so it's great.
I was a blank slate. I'd never really fished before, and so I guess I've been taught the way that Darren has fished. And so I think that helps us a little bit. I didn't have bad habits or different habits or anything like that. And so I think we just blend together very well. And I'm the calm one and he's the little bit more uptight one. And I think it works just perfect.
Well, yeah. And that's what's so much fun to watch you guys fish. Last year you came into Garrison as your first tournament and you just kind of rocked everything there. And then you came down and you fished really well on the river. And this year you went to Devil's Lake. That was probably your hardest tournament of the year.
Yep.
Because you guys don't fish there very often, do you?
I had been on there once in my entire life. And
I'd never been there.
And what was kind of cool about your card at Devil's Lake is you got just a ton of 14, 15, 16, 17-inch fish. Your big fish was 18, and you scored in at a 10.05. And at that time, I'm guessing your season, you didn't have very high hopes of your season, did you?
Well, we knew going into Devil's Lake that was going to be our throwaway, but we also said we're going to fish the whole year because you don't know. We could have stumbled across anything, and Devil's Lake could have been our bread and butter for the whole year. Who knows? So, but honestly, we walked out of Devil's Lake with our chest pumped and our heads high, going, "Hey, we accomplished what we wanted to accomplish," and we didn't gain a ton of points, but we didn't lose a ton of points either.
So then you guys. Our last qualifier of the year you guys fished was at Partial Bay. You upped your bag a little bit. You came in with 16.04 pounds. You had some 20s, but you had a 26-inch kicker. So you were looking for those fish. How was fishing at Partial Bay on that nice, beautiful day?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Pre-fishing Partial, we had mid-20s every day. And we had a program going on shiver minnows, spot and stock with the Garmin. And literally, we were going out there just knocking them, search them, pick them out, hit them with the Garmin, pick them off, one after one. So we went into the event thinking this was going to be great. And 10 minutes in, I cast on one, 80 feet out, bang. We pull, it was like a 22 and a half, whatever it was. 6.5 hours later, Heidi says, enough is enough. We need 5 on the card. Grab the trolling rods. We're going back into Shell Creek. And she saved the day. We were able to pull out, 16 out of that. I mean, it wasn't great by any means, but we came in with decent bags. So
now, before we get into our state championship, I think one of the things that you guys of all the teams took seriously is last year, after a couple of the tournaments, I was kind of ridiculing guys at the rules meeting for not smiling for and coming in, your pictures. And you guys took this very seriously. You have by far the best leaving and coming back pictures of anybody. And that's really important. And we're scrolling through some of those right now for people to see, because you guys are horrible poker players. And so on day one of the tournament, you guys come in and you only scored 30.24 pounds. What was the tactics you were using? What was going on in the boat with that 30-pound bag coming in on day one?
I knew we could go up to, we hadn't fished up, plain and simple, we're up on Shell. And we knew going in, if we went up to Shell, we could pull at least 25. If we got a kicker, we're in that 30 range, And so we made last minute decision. Obviously the weather was bad. We made last minute decision. Let's go. Last minute. I mean, we went out of the bay and it's like, let's go. And we went, first 7 miles sucked. After that, it was great. There was no problems at all. We pulled in there and dropped the program, stuck with it, and just kept plugging away all day long. So
in most tournaments, everybody's talking about that big kicker fish. You guys just had a steady, healthy population of fish. So you put 10 fish on your card on day one, start out with a 19-inch, and then you go to a 25, which is the biggest 25, and was your biggest fish until you put a 26 on the card at the end of the day. What was it like, or what did it take to get those fish and just have that consistency of size?
I don't know if it was just luck or what, but it just kept marking. I mean, I think on Saturday I put a little over 250 marks, and I marked every quality fish and just kept following them on the side scan. And the wind died, it went flat, and we were up shallow, plain and simple, pulling boards, number 7 flicker minnows. We just kept changing colors. In the morning, we had a bronze color, was working awesome. Afternoon, it went dead flat. We started switching, caught a fish, and then they disappeared. And finally slid out a little bit, watched them on the side scan, started following my marks, slid out a little bit, and then bang, 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 got that 26. So the thing that's really difficult about a 2-day tournament is taking day one and replicating it. And if I do some quick math, you were less than a pound difference from day one to day two. You came in with 29.27 pounds. But the biggest difference that most people can't see is on this card, instead of 10 fish, you had 5. Yep.
So did you get less fish on day two?
Yeah. I mean, we caught 5 fish. And for about 3 hours, it was nerve wracking, and I paced. And the worst part about it is our kicker fish came number 2. And then you're thinking, all right, we got a chance, we got a kicker. We just got to get 3 more quality fish. We got a chance, and this one did fabulous. I mean, just freaking keeping me calm, because I was pacing and trying. It's like all those fish on the graph, and you just keep marking and you keep following, you keep switching, and luck would have it. We did the same thing we did the day before, follow the marks, follow the pattern, moved out just a little, 2-3 extra feet, and we were able to pull the next 3 out.
So I think the one thing everybody's waiting for is who got the big fish of the week. And we're not going to talk about that on your card, because some really big fish. When we're pushing the 60-pound range for a 2-day tournament, that's pretty good. But, you had those same consistent fish on day 2 with that big kicker. And then you come in and you come off plane. And what were you guys thinking coming in on the boat ramp on day 2?
Just hoping it was enough, and honestly, after the ride back, it was calm water, little time to breathe. So it was a rough ride back, and thinking, we left early thinking, let's get back, let's not push it. At least we got a chance. We left everything out on the table. no matter what happened, we thought, hold our heads high with 60 pounds. How do you walk away, thinking you didn't do enough?
So guys, you took first place. You got a check for 7,500 coming. You guys used a lot of the contingencies this year. You're running Garmin and stuff. What's it like fishing in a series that has contingencies?
It's just a bonus. I mean, we tried to, we kept forgetting Dells Lake. It was like, kept forgetting to take a picture of the offshore boards. And honestly, that was our key this year. I mean, we stepped up our trolling program big time. Big shout out to Jeff and Ryan from Crazy Eyes Walleyes team out of Wisconsin. They helped us really with our trolling program, and we spent a lot of time doing it. Bought brand new Lew's rods, bought Okuma reels, spent a ton of time on the boards, covering a ton of water, and it really helped.
So I think the big thing about the AIM Weekend Walleye Series, we had a pretty small group last year. We've more than doubled this year. We average 63 teams per tournament. Next year, our goal is to have 100 tournament entries. Tell the folks out there why AIM is important to you guys and why they should fish the AIM Weekend Walleye Series.
I think it's awesome to see more ladies. I think that's going to be huge. I'm going to do what I can to promote husband-wife teams, or even two ladies doing a tournament series. It's fun. The people are fun. You meet lots of new people, new friends that become lifelong friends. And I like that it's Sunday and we're done and we can go home and we can start a new week. And it's been awesome. I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Well, congratulations, guys. I can't wait for you to get the chance to fish in the national championship next year. Is there any sponsor you would like to thank, or any people you'd like to bring up at this time?
Striker picked us up this year, and the gear's been awesome. I mean, we left Friday morning, got our adrenaline suits on, and stayed dry the entire time. It was fantastic. Lew's has really helped us out with I bought way more products than I probably should have. We got a lot of rod and reels, and again, offshore been great with us. The NPAA, guys that are out there thinking about dabbling in the tournament, get hooked up with NPAA. There's so much information out there that'll help you out. And I mean, AIM you guys have been fantastic. I mean, you guys put in a lot of hard work, and again, to go back to your previous, as far as just do it. I mean, it's not, you don't have to, everybody's like, oh, you can't do we can't afford to do the whole series. Just do one. Get your feet wet. Try it. Do it. There's so many tournaments out there, but not only do we release the fish, the guys are great, and it's great organized, and you have a chance. You have a chance to do a ton of stuff, ton of exposure. You got a chance at national shootout. We're going in jacked up, and can't wait for next year. So.
Well, we can't wait to have you back next year. We got to wait to see where we're fishing the first tournament here and the national championship. So
yeah,
exactly.
It's a little bit of stress to go through Christmas with, but
a little bit.
Well, thanks for a great interview, Darren and Heidi, and thank you so much for a great season. Our second place team at the Yamaha Motor Corp USA North Dakota State Championship was Matt Risto and Kyle Hertz. Hey guys, how are you doing today?
Doing good.
Let's get started. Let's go back all the way to Garrison. That was a cold, windy, miserable day. The only good thing about that tournament, I think, is the weather stayed consistent. It was just consistently bad. You came in with 3 fish on your card. What were you thinking that first tournament, how the season would go?
That's not the way we had envisioned it going. It was a little disappointing. We had a little shift in the wind, and believe it or not, an increase in the wind that day. And it shifted our fish just a little bit, but hey, that's fishing.
I think the important thing about the AIM Weekend Walleye Series is we have Team of the Year points, and you guys put a 23, a 20, and a 16-inch fish on the card for 9.7 pounds. And as we get through these, we'll see how important that is. Next tournament was Newtown. You went away with a 9th place finish there. How was fishing Newtown?
That was a good day. I mean, it started off really slow, and we had about a half hour of just pandemonium, and then it was done after that.
Yeah. So did you guys do a long run at Newtown like a lot of the teams, or do you just fish around there local?
We did a long run.
So
we turned the corner like everyone else and got airborne with the boat.
you kind of enjoyed the Warrior boat that day with the long run, and yeah.
No, we weren't in the Warrior that day.
You came in with 21.88 pounds that day. Had a really good showing. Just a lot of consistent fish on Lake Sakakawea. So our third tournament of the year was Devil's Lake. What was that like fishing Devil's Lake? Do you guys fish that lake very often?
It's a once-a-year thing. It's tournament time we end up over there.
And that was your lowest bag of the year at 6.84 pounds. How important is it to just kind of keep grinding when it comes to team of the year and, focusing on trying to get to that championship spot?
Well, knowing that we have one to throw out if it doesn't work out, that's a good thing. But we went into Devil's Lake kind of hoping that was going to be a good tournament for us, but it didn't pan out.
Yeah, and then then after that, you got back to some water you guys know pretty well. You fished Partial Bay. You put 8 fish on the card. You had a 28 and a quarter inch walleye there, and you came in with 31.04 pounds. That was important for a lot of reasons. What was it like fishing Partial?
It was a fun tournament. The fish came hot and heavy within the first hour. I think we had, in 40 minutes, I think we had 27 pounds. And then the rest of the day, we kept grinding away, and just those fish just never got bigger. And you're throwing away 23-inch fish, and you're like, man, can we get something a little bigger? We're like, other guys would kill to have these fish right now. But, yeah, in the last moments, like 15 minutes before coming in, that 28 hit and saved our day there.
Well, and, you had a good third-place finish there. And I think what's important about this is you knew what was possible at the state championship here just a couple weeks later. What was going through your brain when you were preparing to go to the state championship on, this last week in pre-fishing?
Well, the planning started when we were driving home from Partial. We were already planning what we were going to do, what water we were going to break down. We had a pretty good idea we were going to end up back up in the new Partial area again, up in the arm. But figured we better check the whole lake just in case. So that was all of last week, and actually a few days the week prior I was up there, and I covered a lot of water all the way from the embankment west, just trying to find something that'd shake out, and didn't find anything consistent.
Yeah. Now you fished AIM before. You've held a state championship trophy before. This is your second place tournament. What's it mean having that experience coming into a tournament like this?
Oh, I don't know. That's a tough question. I don't know. Knowing what it takes to win, I guess that's good to have under your belt, and knowing when not to panic and just hold to doing what you're doing, having some faith in yourself.
And I think it's just the mentality of you got to grind it out. And we've seen that. I mean, that's been the theme of the whole year is grind it out. And, we had people this year that weren't putting fish on their card because they, I need 17, 18, 19-inch fish, and they weren't putting 14-inch fish. And when it comes down to the team of the year points, you guys understand, how important that is to fight all the way up there and keep fighting all the time. What's it mean to never give up while you're fishing a tournament?
I don't know. That's another tough question.
We sit there and we grind it out. Whether we're running a gun in spots or sitting on one spot, we'll sit there till the last possible moment hoping for a bite. And it's happened twice. I mean, the one time was, a 15-incher at Garrison or whatever? I mean, it wasn't much, but it helped, and it came within the last half hour. And that 28-incher came in the last 15 minutes up at Partial. So, you got to use every minute you're given.
Well, and the reason I asked that question is day one you came in and this is the day that was intriguing because you came in and you're not even a couple ounces away from first place. So what did you think when you saw those results come out?
We were pretty surprised. I mean, we thought we knew we were right up at the top, but we weren't sure. We had all those big storms and everything blow through the night before, and knowing Lake Sakakawea and what storms do to those fish, figured not everybody's going to get them. And if anybody got them, we were going to be surprised.
And the impressive thing about your bag on day one is you just had a lot of those consistent fish with the 22s or 24s, 26-inch fish, and you did really well. What was your mindset going into day two?
We're going to go back and do it again.
Now, Kyle, you're the partner. Matt, you're the captain and stuff. Repeating 2 really good days in a row is hard. People don't realize how hard that is.
It is on any body of water.
On Saturday morning.
Well, we figure we're just going to go into our spots and use our electronics and do what we know how to do and hope it worked out. So
on day 2, you came in with a 22.35 pound bag. Were you kind of down a little bit?
Yeah, we thought the day was going to go a lot better. Our fish relocated out on us, and the problem is we had a couple spots we wanted to check, and it was tough to run and gun that day. So I don't know. Like, if we could have found those fish a couple hours earlier, it might have been a different day.
Your hopes had to be pretty high when your third fish on your card's a 27-incher after the day before. That gets you all wrapped up and you get going. But then you put 2 13-inch fish on the card next. What was going through your brain then?
That was we're just going to get 5 on the card. We knew we could grind out a couple of better bites after that, but it's just we'll get our 5, ease the nerves a little bit, and go from there.
So the big question, you just kind of grounded out. You ended up with a 22 and a 16, and it was good enough for second place. You went home with a $4,000 check, a 52-pound bag of fish, and an invitation to the national championship. Talk about the national championship a little bit. You've been there before. What's it like?
Oh, that's a great time coming together with all the other teams from the other states, getting to know other guys, and never knowing where we're going and fishing new bodies of water and getting a whole 4 days to try and break it down.
I guess the last question, what was your tactics out there? What were you doing? If somebody says, man, I want to catch at least one fish like these guys, not all of them, just one. What do I got to do to go hit the water and catch a fish?
Go get some flicker minnows and find some bait clouds.
Well, thank you very much, guys. Which sponsors and supporters of yours would you like to thank before we end today?
I'd like to thank Warrior Boats, of course, Jake Stewart at Mild to Wild Motorsports. He does a lot of work for me, make sure I keep the boat on the water. And I'd like to thank my wife for putting up with this hectic season we've had.
I'll second that one.
Yeah, we've been a lot of time on the road. Oh,
one more guy.
And Dane Hyde at DH Custom Baits for hooking us up with our custom painted flicker minnows that put those fish in the boat.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for fishing. Congratulations on your success this year in the 2020 season of the AIM Weekend Walleye Series, and we'll see you next year.
All right. Thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks.
Our Yamaha Motor Corp USA Team of the Year for the state of North Dakota was Lonnie Jacobs and Janine Landseedel. They came in with 507.37 points. They had a rough year. They had a really slow start at the Garrison with only 1 fish, but they worked really hard and got themselves up to win Team of the Year. Now, here's what's exciting, Fan Nation, because our top 5 finishers at the state championship are also in the top 10 of Team of the Year points. Here's who gets invitations to the national championship. Our second place team, Liebel and Brew. The third place team, Sandstrom and Sandstrom. Our 7th place team of DeBoer and Hamel. 8th place finishers and Team of the Year, Brew and Keller. And finally, our 9th place Team of the Year team is Holman and Holman. And those 5 teams get to go to the national championship along with our 5 teams from the state championship. So, Fan Nation, that's all we got here from North Dakota for 2020. But next weekend at Lake Winnebago, we got the Wisconsin State Championship, and the following week is Lake of the Woods for the Minnesota State Championship. Thank you, Fan Nation, for tuning into the wrap, and let's take a look back at the highlights of the 2020 North Dakota season.